going to talk to you a bit about the way we are building technology for crisis. So we are Commit Global. We are an international NGO that's building open source technology that serve populations and NGOs that aim to tackle critical global issues. And we've been building this software for the past 8 years already. Commit Global is an international branch of Code for Romania. And at our core, we have these 3 core elements for the tools we are building. So they have to be open source, they have to be free, common, and shared. So far, the technology that we've built in the humanitarian infrastructure has been assisting over 18 million of people. In 2022, when the Ukraine war started, a lot of refugees came in Romania. And the Romanian government was not ready to take up this challenge. And what we've done in that moment was to offer them this technology that helped them put together all the information that the refugees needed. Because, well, when you are a refugee, you don't have the time or the necessary energy to browse to 1,000 websites of the thousands agencies that provide you with information. So before diving into the strategies that we have in place for building this technology, I just wanted to ask you to do a quick exercise with me. So I want you to, for a few seconds, immerse in this scenario. So you've just arrived in a foreign country, you've been fleeing danger, you have no contacts, you have very limited battery on your mobile phone, and you need help. What do you do first? I would like to hear your thoughts. It's quite a pessimistic scenario, but still, it's...
Go to the authorities.
Sorry?
Find authorities, like
okay,
police or
find
something
authorities. Like okay, and how do you plan to find authorities?
Charge your phone.
Charge your phone, okay.
I think like if you go to every bus stop, there's always like a map of the city with like important stuff, and if you can follow a map.
Okay. So far, the examples that you gave me are not about cutting-edge technology. And basically, when we talk about design and designing tools that aim to tackle a crisis situation, the solution rarely lies in cutting-edge technology like AI or any kind of new technology that appears out there. So it's usually the strategy rooted in human-centric, inclusive design that drives digital adoption. So in our vision, the most impactful civic technology isn't necessarily the most advanced, but it's the most accessible, adaptable, and user-focused. So, what we are striving for with this technology? So we are trying to provide a holistic and integrated approach and not solutions as islands. So we are building technology in a modular way in which it can be deployed based on the situation on the ground, which means that we have to be well anchored in on-the-ground situations. Right now, part of my colleagues are in Mexico and trying to understand the needs of the NGOs and shelters on the ground, which currently face a huge volume of people being deported from the US. So right now, they are trying to help them. We've been in touch with them, and they right now need a shelter management system, and we are trying to provide this for them for free. So more than that, we are trying to do and base our design decisions on the best available evidence. So in most of the crises where things change constantly, you have access only to the information that you have in that moment. You are trying to learn from previous experiences, and you are trying to make the best decision for serving that population. And last but not least, we are trying to accomplish more with less. So we know that we have limited resources out there, and we have to make sure that we use them in the most conscious way. So I was telling you about this humanitarian infrastructure, and part of the talk is about telling you the story behind it. So here you have what we've been deploying for Romania. And basically we had this single entry point called Dopomoha, which means help in Ukrainian, that basically took a person who accessed it to the different tools that they need. So, for instance, we have a solution dedicated to women's health, because a lot of women came in and they needed information, for instance, about how to get an abortion, because in Poland that wasn't an option anymore. Or how to access healthcare support for the people that were chronically ill. So you cannot stop your treatment just because the war started. You just needed to get urgent help in the country you were fleeing to. So we were having these solutions that were basically connected to each other. So now I will tell you a bit about how we approach building these solutions and how what strategies we had in place for doing this. So what we have is a big bias for action. The solutions that we are building and design are needed yesterday. They are solutions that need to have very quick adoption. They need to be easily adopted by the persons who need them. Secondly, we are trying to not waste any resources. As I said previously, we are trying to build more modular, scalable, and reusable components that we can combine in different ways. And last but not least, we give every specialist in our team a seat at the table. So for us, it's very important to have subject matter experts that are coming in with expertise. It's for sure the information platform that I showed you that we deployed in Romania could not have been done just only by us, because we don't have the expertise with legal advice, understanding all the legal things that an Ukrainian needed. So we brought in other organizations or other institutions that had this expertise. And from this approach, we also have a few strategies that are guiding the way we are building this technology. And I will guide you through them. So first and foremost, for us is very important to take into account the humanitarian principles, which are humanity, neutrality, impartiality, and independence. So we are trying to build these solutions having in mind that we have to address these principles as well. So humanity refers to the fact that human suffering needs and must be addressed whenever found, and it has to be particularly addressed to the most vulnerable ones. Then we have neutrality, which basically means that we must not favor any part of a conflict. Then we have impartiality, which means providing this technology to the ones that need it and not discriminate. And of course, the independence is related to the fact that the technology that is built it's autonomous and does not relate to objectives from, I don't know, economic, political, or military nature. Then we have the next principle, which is safeguarding the vulnerable people. We aim to build things that do not harm our users in any shape or form. And more of that, we are trying to vet the partners that we are working with in order to make sure that none of them have malicious intentions or can harm the beneficiaries in any way. Then, of course, we are trying to build this technology with the people that are using it. So we are trying to use a lot of code design and code creation within our process, because it's important to build grassroots, to build local, and then to make sure that the thing that you build is scalable further. So we are trying to represent all the people, we are trying to work with all the people, and we have to be aware that they are different and there are a lot of needs. And of course, sometimes we cannot match all, but we are trying our best to make sure that the solution is as inclusive as possible. Then we have a topic which is related to trust and building trust in the solution. So, as I said previously, we are trying to build solutions that do not harm the users and do not cause vulnerabilities that might harm the users. So it's very important to make sure that we have in place protocols and secure by design principles, which basically mean that you have embedded in the way that you are, I don't know, for instance, writing inline errors. If a user inputs an email and a password and perhaps they do not match, we are not telling them, hey, your password is not matching. You're saying that credentials are not correct, because if there's someone that wants to harm the user, they will, oh, this email address works, but the password is wrong, so I just keep trying and until I hack that. So it's very important to make sure that the way you communicate with the users through a platform and through the interface is done in a safely manner. Then the next one refers to the fact that we also design for failure, not only for happy flows. So usually the people working with these tools are in very stressful situations, are in very changing scenarios, and we have to make sure that within the apps we embed redress mechanisms. That may mean adding retry button or adding things that help guide the user to try again the process without making them frustrated, because these people are already working in very stressful conditions, and we do not aim to cause more stress or put more burden on them with the solution. But quite the opposite, we are trying to make their work more efficient. We are trying to help them navigate situations like that. Then we have the fact that we design for constantly adjusting and changing. So as I was telling you before, usually crisis situations are always adapting and always progressing. And we are trying to make these solutions adaptable as well, without interrupting the way that they are currently functioning. So for instance, if we are helping an NGO to get an information website, we are making sure that they also have a content management system. So they are not locked in having static information that probably does not make sense in the next hour or in the next day. So they have to have access to easily updating and accessing information. If we talk about a data collection tool, we are trying to make sure that these people have a form builder, so they are not stuck with a single data collection method. Then we are also trying to make the learning curve as low as possible, because these people do not have the time or the energy to invest in learning how to use a new tool or how to do a lot of technical things. So we are trying to build these tools in a manner in which they are accessible even for the people with low literacy and low digital skills. So this is also very, very important. Last but not least, we are building technology that enables people and empowers them, and we are not aiming to substitute other tools or other technologies, but to embrace them. So we had a situation where we had a group of NGOs working with refugees, and they were using WhatsApp to navigate the group. So we cannot just tell them, hey, do not use WhatsApp, use something else, and expect them to suddenly do that, because they'll probably not have the energy, but we have to educate them in order to get better solutions. So we are trying to embrace all the things that they are already working on. So that was my presentation. I wanted to save some time for questions. So thank you so much for your attention so far, and please, I'm all ears.
So, when I worked in crisis response tech as a designer, we had a really big problem with NGO organizations loving open source, but then not upstream contributing back their changes and just being like, thanks for the open source, we're going to use it. Because there's like this problem where NGOs, humanitarian NGOs, like have impact metrics, which is how many people they help. So if they share that with others, then it affects their quote unquote bottom line. How do you work with this problem? Have you found a way around it? Do people work nicely together on your platforms? Do they upstream contribute well?
So the NGOs that we work with usually do not have the capacity to actually contribute, because they do not have an IT department or people that are able to actually contribute to the code. However, in the crisis situations that we have, within our organization, we activate something called the task force, where we basically have volunteers that come in, and they I don't know, when the crisis in Ukraine started, we put up all those platforms that I was showing you in less than 48 hours, so in less than 2 days, because we had like a lot of people that wanted to help, but they were not necessarily people that could go at the border and welcome refugees, but they were programmers, they were designers, they were people that had a genuine passion and the willingness to help. And yeah, this is how we do it. We work a lot with volunteers, and yeah, it's part of the work.